Welcome to Tiny Reddit Drama Channel.
Today I've got two explosive stories for you. In the first, a jealous new boyfriend tries to kick a real dad out of a parent-teacher meeting until the school sees the custody papers and escorts him out instead. In the second, a mom calls her son a failure compared to his successful brother. So he calmly reveals that brother's entire success is built on over $50,000 he secretly loaned him. Stick around, hit like if you enjoy crazy family drama, and let's jump straight into story one. My ex's new boyfriend declared, "I'm his real dad now, you're banned from the parent-teacher meeting." The school called me confused. I showed up with court documents proving my rights. The principal escorted him out instead. My ex's face when I walked in was worth everything. I, 34 male, have a 7-year-old son. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. No question. My ex and I split 4 years ago when our kid was 3. It wasn't pretty. She wanted out, said she felt trapped, the usual stuff. Fine. We did mediation, worked out a custody agreement. 50-50 split, alternating weeks, joint legal custody meaning we both have equal say in education, medical, all the big stuff. I've never missed a single school event. Not one. Every concert, every sports day, every parent-teacher conference. My son knows I'm there. That matters to me more than anything. Enter my ex's new boyfriend. They've been together about 8 months now. At first, I didn't care. She can date whoever she wants. But this guy has main character syndrome. Something fierce. It started small. Comments here and there when I'd pick up my son. "Oh, you're still doing the every other week thing?" Like shared custody was some quaint arrangement I should have grown out of. Then he started showing up to my son's soccer games. Fine, whatever, support the kid. But he'd position himself right next to my ex across the field from me and make a big show of cheering louder than anyone. Whatever. I'm not insecure. Cheer all you want, buddy. 3 weeks ago, my son came home from his mom's week looking off. I asked what was up. Mom's boyfriend says he's going to be my new dad soon. He said real dads live with their kids all the time. My heart dropped. What did you say? I said I already have a dad, you. I hugged him so tight. Told him he was right, that nothing changes that, and that his mom's boyfriend was just trying to be nice but said it wrong. Inside, I was livid, but I kept it together. Sent my ex a calm text. "Hey, can we talk about what your boyfriend said to our son about being his new dad? It's confusing him." Her response, "He's just bonding with him. Stop being so sensitive. You're not the only man in his life anymore. Get used to it." I let it go. Shouldn't have, but I did. Then came Thursday, parent-teacher conference day. I'd had it marked on my calendar for weeks. My son's teacher sent out the schedule a month ago. I signed up for the 4:30 p.m. slot during my ex's week, which is allowed per our custody agreement. At 2 p.m., I got a call from the school. The receptionist sounded confused. "Hi, this is the front office. We have a situation regarding your son's parent-teacher conference tonight." Okay? Well, someone called earlier today claiming to be his stepfather and said you're no longer permitted to attend school functions. He said there's a new custody arrangement and that you've been removed from the approved contact list. I actually laughed. "I'm sorry, what?" He was very insistent. Said you might cause a disruption and that security should be notified if you show up. "Ma'am, I have joint legal custody. There's no stepfather. My ex has a boyfriend. And there's definitely no new custody arrangement. I figured something was off. That's why I called you directly." I thanked her and immediately called my lawyer. Not for a lawsuit or anything dramatic, just to get a certified copy of my custody agreement and a letter confirming my parental rights. She had them ready within 2 hours. Bless that woman. At 4:15 p.m., I walked into that school with a manila folder containing 1. Certified copy of custody agreement. 2. Court order confirming joint legal custody. 3. Letter from my attorney confirming my rights as a legal parent. 4. My ID. The receptionist saw me and gave me a subtle nod. She knew what was coming. I headed to my son's classroom. And there they were. My ex and her boyfriend, sitting in the tiny chairs outside the classroom like they owned the place. He had his arm around her, looking smug as anything. He saw me first. His face went through about 6 emotions in 2 seconds. "What are you doing here?" he said, standing up. I told them you weren't coming. Yeah, I heard about that. My ex grabbed his arm. Babe, let me handle this. She turned to me. You need to leave. This is my week. I'm handling the conference. Joint legal custody, I said, keeping my voice level. I have equal rights to attend school functions regardless of whose week it is. It's in writing. Want to see it? Her boyfriend stepped forward, actually stepped toward me. Look, man, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but you need to accept that things have changed. I'm in his life now. I'm gonna be his stepdad. You showing up to everything is confusing him. The only thing confusing him is you telling him you're his new dad. Someone needs to step up. You're a part-time parent at best. I felt my jaw tighten but kept cool. I have him 50% of the time. That's not part-time. And you've been dating his mom for 8 months. You don't get to redefine my relationship with my son. The classroom door opened. My son's teacher stepped out, looking uncomfortable. Is everything okay out here? Before I could answer, the boyfriend said, This man isn't supposed to be here. Can you call the office? The teacher looked at me, then at my ex, clearly lost. I handed her the folder. These are my custody documents. Joint legal custody, equal rights to school functions. I signed up for this slot a month ago. She glanced through the papers and her expression shifted. Sir, she said to the boyfriend, according to this, he has every right to be here. That's old paperwork. It's dated and current, I said, stamped by the court. The teacher excused herself and went to get the principal. Smart move. For the next 3 minutes, my ex's boyfriend tried everything, told me I was being obsessive, said real men move on and let their kids have a stable household, said I was pathetic for not letting another man do the job. I just stood there, didn't engage. The principal arrived, older guy, clearly experienced in exactly this kind of nonsense. What's the issue here? The boyfriend jumped in first. This guy is harassing us. He's not supposed to be at school events anymore. The principal looked at me. I handed him the folder. He spent about 30 seconds reading. Then he looked at the boyfriend. Sir, who are you in relation to this student? I'm his mother's partner. I'm going to be his stepfather. Are you married to his mother? Not yet, but are you listed as a legal guardian or emergency contact? My ex finally spoke. He's on the emergency contact list. Emergency contact and legal custody are not the same thing, the principal said. According to these documents, this man, he pointed at me, has joint legal custody and full rights to attend school functions. The boyfriend's face went red. This is ridiculous. He's not even. Sir, I need you to lower your voice. You're in a school. I'm trying to protect this kid from a deadbeat. The principal's expression hardened. That's enough. You're not a legal guardian. You made false claims to our office about custody arrangements. I need you to leave the premises. You can't kick me out. I can, and I am. Please leave voluntarily or I'll have to involve our resource officer. My ex looked like she'd been slapped. This is insane. He's my partner. Ma'am, your partner misrepresented himself and the custody situation to our staff. That's a serious matter. Your son's father has every legal right to be here. The boyfriend looked at my ex like she was supposed to fix this. She had nothing. Fine, he said. This isn't over. He stormed out. Actually stormed. Like a teenager who got his phone taken away. The principal turned to me. I apologize for the confusion. Our staff followed protocol by calling you directly. I appreciate that. He turned to my ex. Ma'am, I strongly advise you ensure your partner understands the legal boundaries here. Any further attempts to misrepresent custody arrangements will result in formal documentation. She didn't say anything. Just sat back down in that tiny chair, staring at the floor. I went into the conference. Had a great talk with the teacher. My son's doing well in reading, needs some help with math. Normal stuff, important stuff. When I came out, my ex was still sitting there alone. Her boyfriend hadn't come back. I hope you're happy, she said. I'm not happy about any of this. I just want to be part of my son's life. That's it. He's trying to help. He cares about our son. Our son, yours and mine, not his. She didn't respond. I went home. Hugged my kid when I picked him up for my week the next day. Didn't say a word about what happened. He doesn't need that drama. But yeah, the look on her face when I walked in. When her boyfriend got escorted out while I had a perfectly calm parent-teacher conference. Worth it. Completely worth it. Update 1. 1 week later. Well, the drama escalated. Because of course it did. After the parent-teacher conference incident, I figured things would settle down. Maybe the boyfriend would realize he'd overstepped and back off. Maybe my ex would have a conversation with him about boundaries. I was wrong on both counts. First thing that happened, my ex's mother called me. I actually like her ex-mother-in-law. She's always been fair even during the divorce. But this call was different. I heard what happened at the school. She said, "Yeah, it was something. I want you to know I'm on your side. What he did was wrong. But my daughter is serious about him, and she's not thinking clearly. I'm worried about my grandson." That hit me. Worried how? He's been telling everyone you're barely involved. He's pushing hard for them to move in together, and he keeps talking about adopting your son once they're married. My stomach dropped. He can't do that without my consent. I know. I don't think he knows that. I thanked her for the heads up and hung up. Then I called my lawyer. She told me what I expected. No one can adopt my son without me voluntarily terminating my parental rights. And no court would do that involuntarily, given that I have 50-50 custody and no history of anything negative. Still, she recommended documenting everything, just in case. 3 days later, the boyfriend tried a new approach. He showed up at my apartment. I was watching TV when there was a knock at the door. Opened it to find him standing there, arms crossed, trying to look intimidating. "We need to talk," he said. "About what?" "About you backing off. You humiliated my girlfriend at that school. You made me look like an idiot in front of the principal." "You made yourself look like an idiot. You lied to the school about custody arrangements." "I was trying to protect that kid from being confused by 2 different households. That's not your call to make." He stepped closer. "Look, I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna be in that kid's life whether you like it or not. The question is whether we do this the easy way or the hard way." "What's the hard way?" "I start documenting everything. Every late pickup, every time you don't answer a call, every complaint your son has about being at your place. I build a case that you're unfit." I actually laughed. "That's not how custody works. You think a judge won't listen when a loving stepfather raises concerns about child welfare? You're not a stepfather. You're a boyfriend." His jaw tightened. "For now, but once we're married, things change. Courts like stability. 2-parent households. You'll be the odd man out. Get off my property." "Think about what I said." He left. I immediately wrote down everything he'd said with a timestamp and emailed it to my lawyer. She said it was concerning but not actionable yet. "Keep documenting," she said. The next day, I got a text from my ex. "You need to stop antagonizing my partner. He's going to be your son's stepfather. You should be grateful someone wants to step up." I replied, "I've never stopped being his father. He doesn't need anyone to step up. And your boyfriend showing up at my home to threaten me isn't okay." She didn't respond. That weekend was my week with my son. We had a great time, went to the park, built a Lego set, made pizza from scratch. Normal dad stuff. He didn't mention the boyfriend once. But Sunday night, when I dropped him off at his mom's, the boyfriend was there. Standing on the porch like some kind of guardian. "Hey buddy," he said to my son, way too loud. "Ready for movie night?" My son kind of shrugged and went inside. The boyfriend looked at me. "See? He likes having me around." I didn't say he didn't. "Then why are you fighting this?" "I'm not fighting anything, except you trying to push me out of my own kid's life." "You're paranoid." I got in my car and left. Wasn't worth it. 2 days later, I got a call from my son's soccer coach. "Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. Someone called and tried to remove you from the approved pickup list for practices. Said you weren't supposed to be at games anymore." I sighed. "Let me guess? A guy claiming to be his stepfather?" "That's the one." "He's not." "I'm still on the list, right?" "Absolutely. We checked with the school records and confirmed your custody status, but I figured you should know." I thanked him and hung up. This was getting ridiculous. He was systematically trying to erase me from my son's activities. School, soccer, what was next? I called my lawyer again. She drafted a cease and desist letter to both my ex and her boyfriend, outlining my parental rights and warning that further attempts to interfere with my custody or misrepresent my status could result in legal action. She also suggested I petition for a modification hearing, not to change custody, but to put formal documentation on record about the boyfriend's behavior. It establishes a paper trail, she said. If this escalates, you want the court to see a pattern. I filed the petition. And then things got really interesting. Update 2, the hearing. The court date came 3 weeks later. I wasn't asking for more custody. I was just asking for the court to formally acknowledge my rights and document the interference I'd been experiencing. My ex showed up with the boyfriend. Of course she did. He was wearing a suit, like he was the one on trial. She looked nervous. Good. My lawyer presented everything. 1. The recorded incident at the school where he claimed I'd been removed from custody. 2. Written documentation from the soccer coach about the attempted removal. 3. The boyfriend's visit to my apartment and his statements. 4. Text messages from my ex dismissing my concerns. The judge, older woman, very no-nonsense, read through everything quietly. When she looked up, she addressed my ex first. Ma'am, can you explain why your partner has been contacting schools and sports organizations claiming to be this child's stepfather with authority over custody arrangements? My ex tried to minimize it. He was just trying to help. He's very involved in my son's life. Being involved doesn't give him legal authority. You understand that? Yes, but the judge cut her off. There's no but. This man, she gestured to the boyfriend, has no legal relationship to this child. He's made false statements to educational institutions. That's concerning. The boyfriend couldn't stay quiet. Your Honor, I'm just trying to provide stability for this kid. His father only has him half the time, which is the custody arrangement ordered by this court. Are you suggesting the court's order is inadequate? He backpedaled. No, I'm just saying. Sir, you're not a party to this case. You're here as a guest. I'd recommend you stop speaking. He shut up. The judge turned back to me. I'm going to grant your petition. The record will reflect that you have full, joint legal custody and equal rights to participate in your child's educational and extracurricular activities. I'm also going to issue a formal warning. Any further attempts to interfere with your parental rights could be considered contempt of court and result in sanctions. She looked directly at my ex. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. And make sure your partner understands as well, because if I see another filing about him misrepresenting custody arrangements, I will take action. We were dismissed. Outside the courthouse, the boyfriend was furious, red-faced, pacing, muttering about how the system was rigged. My ex tried to calm him down. Babe, let's just go. This is insane. I'm gonna be his stepdad. Why is everyone acting like I'm some stranger? Because legally, you are, I said, walking past them. Maybe you should stop trying to be something you're not. He lunged at me. Actually lunged. My ex grabbed his arm just in time. This isn't over, he shouted. I kept walking. That night, I got a call from my ex. Her voice was tired. I hope you're satisfied. I'm not trying to win anything. I just want to be my son's dad. He's a good guy. He just cares too much. He needs to care less about replacing me and more about respecting boundaries. Long pause. I can't promise anything, she said, but I'll talk to him. That's all I'm asking. She hung up. Final update. 3 months later, things have been quiet. Relatively. The boyfriend didn't disappear, but he pulled back significantly after the court hearing. No more calls to schools, no more showing up to soccer games to claim my seat, no more threats at my apartment. I think the judge scared him, or maybe my ex finally put her foot down. Either way, I'll take it. My son's doing great. His math improved. He scored 2 goals this season. He still talks about his mom's boyfriend sometimes, says he's okay, but talks too much. Kids are perceptive. Last month, I had my regular parent-teacher conference. Showed up, sat down, no drama. The teacher actually commented on how nice it was to have both parents actively engaged. I didn't mention what it took to get here. Saw my ex at pickup last week. First time we'd really talked since the court date. He's not pushing the adoption thing anymore, she said. I told him it's not happening. Good. He's adjusting. It's been hard for him. I don't really care about what's hard for him. I care about our son. She nodded. Fair. Are we good? She hesitated. We're getting there. That's more than I expected, honestly. Last week my son made me a card at school. It said, "Best Dad" in crayon, with a drawing of us playing soccer. I put it on my fridge. I don't know what the future holds. The boyfriend might try something again. My ex might change her mind about boundaries. Courts might get involved again. But right now, I have my kid half the time. I go to every conference, every game, every concert. I tuck him in every night of my weeks. I'm his dad. Nobody gets to take that away. Not her, not him, not anyone. Some battles you have to fight. This was one of them. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. That's it. That's the story. Thanks for reading. Edit, since people are asking, no, I haven't forgiven the boyfriend for what he did. I don't think I ever will. But I'm not holding on to anger either. I've got more important things to focus on, like my kid. Edit 2, for anyone going through something similar, document everything. Dates, times, witnesses. Courts care about patterns, not just single incidents. Get a good lawyer. And never, ever let someone make you doubt your right to be in your child's life. My mom announced at Thanksgiving in front of everyone, let's be honest, you're a complete failure compared to your brother. I smiled and said, you're right. Then I revealed my brother's success was funded by $50 I'd been loaning him. The table went silent as the truth emerged. I, 32 male, work as an IT systems administrator for a mid-size company. It's not glamorous, it doesn't make for exciting dinner party conversation, and my mom has never once asked me what I actually do. But it pays well, $87,000 annually with good benefits, and I've been quietly building my savings for years. My younger brother, 28, is the golden child. Always has been. He started a boutique marketing agency 3 years ago, drives a leased BMW, wears designer clothes, and posts constantly about the entrepreneur grind. Our mom treats him like he invented success itself. Here's what nobody in my family knows. His agency has been bleeding money since day one. And for the past 2.5 years, I've been the one keeping him afloat. It started small, $2,000 here for a temporary cash flow issue, $5,000 there for an investment opportunity that'll pay back triple. Then bigger asks, $10,000 for office expansion, $8,000 for a major client pitch. Each time, he'd promised to pay me back next quarter when the big contracts come through. The big contracts never came through, but the requests kept coming. Total loaned over 30 months, $52,400. Documented in texts, emails, and a Google Doc. I made him sign digitally after the third loan because I'm not stupid, just apparently too nice for my own good. Why did I keep lending? Because he's my brother. Because he begged. Because every time I hesitated, he'd remind me that family helps family, and that I wouldn't understand the pressure of running a business. Because part of me wanted to believe he'd figure it out. Stupid, I know. Anyway, Thanksgiving. The whole family was there. Our parents, our aunt and uncle, their 2 kids, my cousins, and my grandmother. About 12 people total around the table. Dinner was going fine until my mom decided to give her annual, let's discuss the kids speech. She does this every major holiday. It's always the same. My brother gets praised for 20 minutes. I get a polite acknowledgement of my existence. But this year, she went nuclear. You know, she said, lifting her wine glass, I think we should all raise a toast to my youngest. 3 years running his own business, a BM, that beautiful apartment. Meanwhile, she looked at me. Actually looked at me with this pitying expression. Let's be honest, sweetheart. You're a complete failure compared to your brother. You're 32, you live in that tiny apartment, you drive that old Honda, and you've never done anything ambitious in your life. I just wish you had half his drive. The table went quiet. My dad was staring at his plate. My aunt looked uncomfortable. My grandmother was pretending to be very interested in her cranberry sauce. My brother? He was smirking. Actually smirking, like this was exactly what he wanted to hear. Something snapped in me, not in an angry way, more like a calm clarity. I smiled. You're right, Mom. She blinked, clearly not expecting agreement. Well, I didn't mean to be harsh, but no, you're absolutely right. My brother is incredibly successful. In fact, let me tell everyone just how successful he is. I pulled out my phone. My brother's smirk faltered. In the past 2.5 years, his business has been so successful that he's only needed to borrow, let me check my records here, $52,400 from me, his failure of a brother, to keep it running. Dead. Silence. The BMW? He needed $4,000 from me for the lease payments when he fell behind last spring. The office expansion? That was $10,000 from my savings to cover 3 months of rent he couldn't make. The designer clothes for client meetings? About $3,000 total, paid back exactly $0. My mom's face went white. That can't be true. Want to see the receipts? I've got Venmo screenshots, bank transfers, a signed document where he agreed to repayment terms, all on my phone. I held it up. My brother lunged across the table trying to grab it. Dude, shut up, he hissed. This isn't the time. When is the time? When you ask me for another $5,000 next month? Because the email you sent last week asking for just $7,000 to get through the holidays is also on here. My uncle leaned forward. Wait, you've given him over $50,000? Loaned, technically, although I've seen exactly $1,200 paid back in 30 months, so given might be more accurate. My grandmother slowly turned to look at my brother. Is this true? He couldn't meet her eyes. My mom tried to recover. Well, that's what family does. You should be proud to support your brother's dreams. I was fine supporting his dreams, Mom. What I'm not fine with is being called a failure at Thanksgiving dinner by someone who doesn't know that her golden child's entire success is funded by the sibling she just publicly humiliated. I stood up, grabbed my jacket. For the record, my tiny apartment is tiny because I've been saving money. Money that apparently went to keeping up appearances for someone else. My old Honda is paid off. My unambitious job has given me a 401k, health insurance, and zero debt, unlike some people at this table. I looked at my brother. You have until January 1st to come up with a repayment plan, or I'm taking this to small claims court. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I walked out. My phone started blowing up before I even got to my car. Update 1. 3 days later. So the fallout has been interesting. First, let me address some questions from the comments. Yes, I have documentation for everything. Every single loan is recorded. Venmo transactions, bank transfer confirmations, and a Google Doc loan agreement that my brother signed electronically. I made him do this after the 3rd loan because I had a feeling. My company uses DocuSign, so I know how to make digital agreements that hold up. The document lists each loan amount, date, and his acknowledgement that these are loans to be repaid. Some people asked why I kept lending. Fair question. Honestly, he's my little brother. We were close as kids. He has this way of making you feel like saying no makes you the bad guy. I'm about to lose everything. Don't you believe in me? You're the only one I can trust. Classic manipulation, I see that now. Anyway, the 3 days since Thanksgiving. The first call came from my mom about an hour after I left. I let it go to voicemail. She left a 7-minute message that went something like, "How dare you embarrass your brother like that? You ruined Thanksgiving. Your grandmother is devastated. Your aunt thinks you're vindictive. This is family business and you had no right to air it in front of everyone. You need to apologize immediately. And frankly, if you had extra money to lend, you should have been helping us pay for holiday dinners instead of complaining about." I stopped listening after that. My dad texted me around midnight. Short message. That wasn't the right way to handle it, but I wish you'd told me sooner. Call when you're ready. My brother texted me approximately 400 times over the next 48 hours. Slight exaggeration, but not by much. The messages evolved like the stages of grief. Denial. You made half that stuff up. I don't owe you nearly that much. Anger. You're a jealous piece of garbage. You've always wanted me to fail. Bargaining. Okay, look. Let's talk about this. Maybe we can work something out. Don't do the court thing. More anger. You're gonna destroy my reputation over money? Blood is supposed to be thicker than this. Depression. I can't believe you'd do this to me. After everything, I looked up to you. That last one almost got me. Almost. Then I remembered he'd looked up to me enough to call me a corporate drone at my cousin's wedding last year. Here's where it gets interesting. My aunt called me yesterday. She's always been the reasonable one in the family. Hey, I'm not calling to lecture you. I just want to understand. Is it really $52,000? $52,400 technically. Long pause. Your brother told your mom it was closer to $10,000 and that you're exaggerating to make him look bad. I can send you the receipts right now if you want. Please do. I did. 30 minutes later, she called back. Holy crap. Yeah. He told everyone you were lying. Your mom's been calling relatives, telling them you had a mental breakdown at Thanksgiving, and made up financial claims to hurt your brother because you're jealous of his success. That one hurt. I'm not gonna lie. My own mother telling extended family I'm mentally unstable rather than admit her favorite son has been financially dependent on the child she considers a failure. Classic, I said. What are you gonna do? I gave him until January 1st to propose a repayment plan. If he doesn't, I'm filing in small claims court. You're serious. $52,000 serious. That's not nothing, Aunt. That's years of saving. She was quiet for a moment. You're right, it's not nothing. I'm sorry he put you in this position. First person in my family to actually apologize. I almost cried. Tabaha. Yesterday afternoon, I got a very different kind of call. My brother's girlfriend. I'd only met her a few times. She's been with him for about a year, seems nice, clearly believes he's some kind of business genius. Hey, it's me. Can we talk? Sure. Your brother says you're trying to extort him, that you're claiming he owes you money, but it was actually gifts that you're now calling loans to hurt him. He told you that? He said you've always been jealous and that you're finally making your move to destroy him. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Want me to send you the documentation? Including the signed agreement where he acknowledged these were loans? Silence. Teen. He said there was no agreement. That you're fabricating documents. I'll forward everything to you in the next 5 minutes. Look at the DocuSign timestamps. Look at his own texts asking for money. Then make your own judgment. I sent it. Didn't hear back for 6 hours. Then one text. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Apparently she'd confronted him with the evidence. He tried to claim I was good with computers and must have faked everything. When she pointed out that faking Venmo transactions and DocuSign records with matching timestamps would require some kind of Mission Impossible level hackery, he broke down and admitted it was real. She also found out that the emergency $7,000 he'd asked me for last week was to pay for a vacation he'd been planning to surprise her with. Using money he was going to borrow from the brother he lets his mother humiliate. She's staying with a friend for now. Says she needs to think about things. My brother, of course, blames me for this too. His latest text, received this morning. You destroyed my relationship. You destroyed my family reputation. You're dead to me, and I'm not paying you back a single cent now. See you in court, loser. Fine by me. I've already contacted a lawyer about the most efficient way to pursue this. Small claims court in my state caps at $10,000, so I might need to go the civil court route for the full amount. Lawyer says I have a strong case given the documentation. More updates coming. This is far from over. Update 2 weeks later. Okay, things have escalated significantly. First, the good news. My brother's girlfriend officially broke up with him. She sent me a text saying she was sorry for initially doubting me, and that she'd discovered a few other lies he'd told her during their relationship. Apparently, the successful agency has been running on fumes, and he'd been hiding the extent of his debt from her too. Now the bad news. My family has gone full scorched earth. My mom started a group text with every family member, aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole network. She titled it Family Support for Brother, and has been using it to coordinate what I can only describe as a pressure campaign. Some highlights from the group chat. Yes, someone forwarded me screenshots. Mom, we need to show brother that we believe in him during this difficult time. His so-called sibling is trying to destroy him out of jealousy. Uncle, what exactly is the money situation? I'm still confused. It's nothing. My older son gave some gifts over the years and is now claiming they were loans because he's bitter about his own failures. This is not about money. This is about resentment. Cousin, but didn't he show receipts? Aunt mentioned seeing actual documentation. Fabricated. He works in IT. He could easily fake those things. That's right. My mother is now telling the extended family that I, a systems administrator, have engaged in elaborate document forgery to frame my brother. Apparently, I'm some kind of criminal mastermind who spent years playing the long game to destroy my sibling at Thanksgiving. Here's where my mom really showed her hand. She called me directly last Tuesday, first time we'd spoken since the holiday. I'm only going to say this once. Drop this lawsuit nonsense, publicly apologize to your brother for lying, and we can all move past this as a family. Mom, I have documented evidence of over $52,000 in loans. Those were gifts. The signed agreement says otherwise. You manipulated him into signing something he didn't understand. Mom, he has a business degree. He knew exactly what he was signing. You've always been jealous of him. Ever since you were children, you've resented how special he is. I took a breath. Special enough to need his failure brother to fund his lifestyle for 3 years? She hung up on me. Then came the real kicker. My grandmother called me. Now, my grandmother is 81 years old. She's sharp as a tack, doesn't use the internet much, and has always been pretty fair to both of us grandkids. I genuinely respect her opinion. I've been hearing a lot of different stories, she said. I want to hear yours. So I told her. Everything. The loans, the amounts, the documentation, the signed agreement, the repeated broken promises to repay. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Your brother came to see me yesterday, she finally said. He asked me for $15,000, said it was for business expansion and that you'd frozen his access to partnership funds out of spite. I almost dropped the phone. He called my loans partnership funds? He made it sound like you two were business partners and you were illegally withholding his share. Grandma, I've never been involved in his business. Not once. I just lent him money he never paid back. Another long silence. I almost gave it to him, she said quietly. I was going to write the check this morning. Then your aunt called me and told me the real number, $52,000. $52,000, yes. That boy looked me in the eye and lied, in my living room, asking for more money he probably never intended to repay. I didn't know what to say. You do what you need to do legally, she said. I raised your mother, so I have to take some responsibility for how she turned out. But I won't stand by and watch you be treated like this. Not in this family. That conversation meant more to me than anything else in this whole mess. The legal stuff is proceeding. My lawyer filed the civil suit last week. We're pursuing the full amount plus interest. The signed agreement included a 3% annual interest clause that my brother apparently didn't read carefully. Total claim, approximately $56,800. My brother got served 3 days ago. His response was to send me a voicemail at 2 a.m. that went, "You want to play games? Let's play games. I'm going to tell everyone what kind of person you really are. I'm going to destroy you." I saved it. My lawyer was very interested in it. He also apparently contacted my employer, tried to tell HR that I had stolen money from him and was not trustworthy. The HR called me in for a meeting. I explained the situation and showed them the lawsuit filing, which proves I'm the plaintiff, not the defendant, and they sent him a cease and desist for workplace harassment. The desperation is real now. Final update coming when the court date happens. Expecting more chaos before this is over. Final update. 6 weeks after Thanksgiving. Well, it's done. The court date was last week. Civil court, not small claims because of the amount. My brother showed up with a lawyer, no idea how he afforded one, probably borrowed money from someone else, and a folder of what he called evidence. His defense strategy was interesting. First, his lawyer argued that the loans were actually gifts that I was now reclassifying as loans due to family conflict. I presented the DocuSign agreement, which clearly stated they were loans with an expectation of repayment. His lawyer tried to argue my brother didn't understand what he was signing. The judge pointed out that my brother has a degree in business administration. That argument died quickly. Second, they tried to claim partial repayment. My brother insisted he'd paid back at least $15,000. I presented my bank statements and Venmo records showing exactly $1,200 in repayments over 30 months. When asked for his proof of the other $13,800 he claimed to have paid, he couldn't produce anything. It was cash, he said. The judge asked if he had any receipts or witnesses. He did not. Third, and this was my personal favorite, his lawyer argued that I had unduly influenced him during a difficult financial period and essentially taken advantage of his desperation. I asked the court to review his texts requesting the loans, which included gems like, "I know you have the money," and "Come on, don't be a selfish jerk." Just help me out. The judge was not impressed with any of this, but here's where it got really good. During cross-examination, my lawyer asked my brother about his current financial situation. Was his business profitable? No. Did he have savings? No. Did he have assets? Just a leased BMW. Not an asset and some furniture. Then my lawyer asked, in the past 6 weeks, since learning of this lawsuit, have you attempted to borrow money from anyone else? My brother's lawyer objected. The judge overruled, noting it was relevant to establishing a pattern of behavior and ability to repay. My brother had to admit that yes, he'd asked our grandmother for $15,000. Yes, he'd asked 2 friends for loans totaling $8,000. Yes, he'd maxed out a credit card he'd opened in the past month. So you've attempted to borrow over $23,000 in 6 weeks, my lawyer said, while simultaneously claiming you don't owe my client anything and that his loans were gifts? My brother didn't have a good answer for that. The judge ruled in my favor. Full amount, $56,847.23, including interest. But here's the thing about civil judgments. Winning doesn't mean you automatically get paid. You can't squeeze blood from a stone. My brother has no real assets, no savings, and a failing business. So we went for wage garnishment. Turns out my brother had quietly gotten a consulting job about 3 weeks ago, probably because he saw the writing on the wall with his agency. The judge approved garnishment of 25% of his disposable income until the debt is paid. At his current salary, that means I'll be getting about $600 a month for the foreseeable future. It'll take years to fully recover the amount, but it's automatic and he can't avoid it without committing fraud. His boutique marketing agency officially closed 2 weeks ago. No fanfare, no announcement, just quietly shut down. The BMW got repossessed when he missed a lease payment. He's apparently driving an old car borrowed from a friend now. The family aftermath is still ongoing. My mom hasn't spoken to me since the verdict. She sent one text. I hope you're happy. You destroyed your brother's future. I didn't respond. My dad, surprisingly, reached out. We had coffee last week. He admitted he'd known something was off with my brother's success for a while, but didn't want to rock the boat. He apologized for not saying anything at Thanksgiving. It wasn't a full redemption arc, but it was something. My grandmother has been incredible. She's the one who told me about the BMW repossession because my brother had gone crying to her about it. She didn't give him money. Instead, she told him, "You spent years taking advantage of your brother's generosity and your mother's favoritism. It's time to learn how to stand on your own." Best grandma ever, honestly. My aunt has been supportive too. She's apparently had some harsh words with my mom about enabling behavior and scapegoating. Thanksgiving at her house next year, if I'm invited anywhere. As for my brother, he's not speaking to me. The last communication was through his lawyer, acknowledging the garnishment order. I doubt we'll ever have a relationship again, and I've made peace with that. Some people in the comments have asked if I regret exposing everything at Thanksgiving in front of everyone, if I should have handled it privately. Here's my honest answer. No. For 30 years, I've been the family afterthought, the boring one, the failure. I've watched my brother get praised for achievements that were literally funded by my savings, while I got pitied for not being ambitious. My mother announced to a table of 12 people that I was a disappointment. If she wanted private family business to stay private, she shouldn't have made public declarations about what a loser I am. The money will take years to fully recover through garnishment. But the look on my mom's face when she realized her golden child was a fraud, that moment when the whole table understood who was actually keeping things afloat, that was worth something too. I'm not saying I handled everything perfectly. I probably should have stopped lending money way sooner. I definitely should have pushed back against the family narrative about my brother's success years ago. But I was raised to keep my head down and not make waves. Turns out, sometimes you need to make waves. My apartment is still small. My Honda is still old and paid off. My job is still unambitious by my mother's standards. But I have zero debt, growing savings, now that I'm not financing someone else's lifestyle, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing exactly where I stand. My brother has a court-ordered debt, no business, no girlfriend, and a family that's finally seeing him clearly. Funny how success and failure can flip so fast when the truth comes out. Thanks for following this whole mess, everyone. Time to move forward.
Thanks for watching. Which side are you on? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for crazy story every day.